It's Shady Vox to talk with me on this nuker blog. Since I am lame, when I'm with him, things will never be the same. Jesus.
Again? This is the
Yes.
second time we're recording this, and he keeps bailing on it.
just the first 5 seconds, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm declaring this Tomevember because I decided that I didn't want it to just end right with right when we finished the charity stream that we did this past weekend. We're recording this on Sunday, the day after we finished it. Went off amazingly without a single technical problem. Isn't that right, Shady?
Oh, no, no, the first 5 minutes were. I'm surprised you didn't make yourself a little title card that said technical difficulties, please stand by. That would have been interesting. And then you can put like Spanish Fly behind it as well.
Yeah, no, that won't get taken down for copyright shit. No, but it went off really well. I was so pleased with everything with it. I was happy to be joined by everybody, including Shady here. And I think we went up to like about 300 people. I think was the biggest amount we had.
I think I saw it coasting around 310.
Yeah, and we raised about $1,700 for Child's Play. It was wonderful. Thank you guys so much. If any of you guys and gals and everybody listening out there tuned in and were there for it, thank you for doing that. And
Did you
especially,
get my donation, by the way? I don't know if it came through.
I think it did. I'm pretty sure. Did you commission something or did you just
Yeah,
put it in?
I dropped $80.
Oh my God. I'm sure it's in there. Well, there's a lot. At the time that we're recording this, I haven't finished all the commissions yet. I apologize for that. Hopefully, maybe by the time that this comes out, they'll already be on my Twitter. But nonetheless, what I decided I kind of wanted to do in this past week, when I was thinking about the prospect of having the rest of the month be somewhat tome themes, I thought that it would be interesting to do some curb logs because I haven't with a lot of them. Shady I have before, but not like this.
Yes.
Just basically talking about sort of the, excuse me, gross, backstory and history and general sort of dreams, hopes, aspirations of my main cast because I've gotten to know Shady, Anna, Casey, Martin, all these guys for very well in the last, particularly the last 5 years since we started Tome. And so I thought, of course, what better way to start than with Alpha, or at least the guy who plays him, because I'm not having Mike on this. But nonetheless, hi Shady, how you doing?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. You were holding up with much greater stamina than I was, probably because you actually took a break during that.
Yeah, because I left and you guys stayed on for like 7 more hours. I just got a message from Casey saying the call ended an hour ago and it was
Yeah,
like 1 p.m. for me. And I'm like, you guys crazy? And
yeah.
I responded and I said, you're all
We
idiots.
sta Which is exactly what we were doing impressions of you saying because we figured that you would say that. So
Really?
clearly we were on the ball with that. Yes.
I heard somebody was doing impressions of me last night. I
Yeah.
missed them. I want to hear them.
Oh, hello, it's me, Shady Vox. I like you doing music and shit. Oh, Minecraft parodies. But yeah, so we want to talk about you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what? I couldn't even tell it from me.
I'm glad. So when I murder you and we do the Tome season three
Yes.
that's not being made, I'll be sure to take over
Yes.
and Alpha will be in good hands.
It'll be seamless. It'll be great.
Completely. Shadems,
Yes.
tell me, because actually, I'll admit it also. Some things I want to do with this is I want to learn more about you guys with things that I didn't already know. So tell
Okay.
me, you've done a lot of stuff.
Yes.
You've written, produced, you've sung, you've voiced, you've done a whole lot of different things. The only thing you haven't done is basically draw, as far as I know.
I can't even draw a straight line. It's a
No.
really serious problem. I keep trying, but I just suck.
Well, we can't all be perfect like me.
Well, it just means I'm going to have to hire you for more jobs.
Oh, good.
So it works nicely for both of us.
Yay. Business curve log, hooray. Anyway, but I want to hear actually a little bit about your early days. I mean, obviously a lot of people know, you're kind of like big start in terms of like hearing hearing the name Shady Vox. As far as I know, was from doing Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Abridged, which
Yes.
was, God, like how many years ago by now did you guys start
Oh,
that?
I think we made the channel in like 2007.
Hmm.
So that's, we're talking 9 years.
And you had been doing it since then, the series?
Well, no, I dropped out about 2 years ago.
Well,
Was
no,
it
I
two
know, but I mean,
years?
like when you started the channel in 2007, did you guys start doing Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Bridge? Were you doing other stuff as well, or?
Oh no, I had no other projects under my belt. I wasn't a
Okay.
creative back then at all. No, I was just doing GX. But that GX is where I actually brought in the tag ShadyVox because before that I had a different online alias. So nobody had any connection to me being that online alias before anyway. Uh,
So could we hear a little bit about those pre-Shady Fox days, or is that a
Oh
dark time you don't want
God,
to go into?
it's a terrible, terrible play. I mean, I mean, it's out there. People can find them if they really wanted to look. I have no problem talking about it. Just I'll let you know in an early advance. I have no pride about them at all. They're stupid. They make no sense. They were made because I had literally nothing else to do, and I thought it was funny at the time. It was like stupid Lion King dubs. It was just my voiceover on Lion King footage, and it's I don't know why, but one of them's got like 7 million views now, and it's so upsetting. And I don't.
Well, no, no,
It's
no.
really,
There
really
was a
bad.
there was like a parody one with Kovu, I think, with the song, right? Is that am
That
I thinking of that?
I didn't sing with him. No,
No. There was
no.
one Lion King dub video I remember seeing like a billion years ago that I think it was like you rewrote it and made it all like silly or something. Am I thinking of that correctly, or is that
Uh,
something else?
no.
Oh no.
You might be thinking of someone else.
Oh well. I guess I
You
should
don't
have
know me at
interviewed
all, Chris. This
interviewed
is so
them then.
upsetting.
Well, I guess how did the spark? I mean, I guess it started with a lot of VO stuff. Maybe was that before you were delving deep into music?
Oh, I didn't touch music until I probably wasn't touching music until Scratch really started kicking in.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
but you
it,
would. Well, no, that's not true because I mean, obviously, you had been doing like music stuff. You didn't have like your like label in that way. But I mean, you were singing and you were doing music related stuff like before that.
oh, singing, yes. Creating my own music. That was later into the process. I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah. Well, I
But,
guess how did your here's a good way to word it. How did your
but
fascination with sound begin? Whether it's voiceover or music or even sound.
sets and stuff, and you sort of get that perspective as the more you do it, the better you. So it's just sort of like a skill you develop, if you sort of advertise that you kind of have a little bit of a knack for it, because it's sort of like an obscure skill to have online. It's not really something that I mean, hundreds of friends that can draw and hundreds of friends that can voice act. Uh, but yeah, no, sort of built from doing GX Abridged and then move it into music, which is a different branch, and then you just start messing around with effects and stuff, and then you make some pretty really cool fucking things.
Well, even before that too. I mean, obviously with the Lion King thing, you were interested in acting to some extent. Like, where did that kind of start?
That started. I first started taking acting seriously around the end of my high school. The last 2 years of your high school education, you get what's called options, and it's three choice subjects that you then study for 2 years. And I chose drama, sports, and I can't remember what the other one was. Science. We started doing like stage theater and acting, and I found that interesting and exciting. And then theatrical studies and musical theater. So pantomimes and big musical on stage Broadway. Each time you're working on a project, you sort of see the reflection in the quality boost. I think I can see it. I'm not too sure if anybody else can, but in GX, there is a huge quality boost from
Like, well, you have. I'm sure you haven't been doing theater stuff in ages, obviously, but I mean, you have a somewhat traditional.
did that was musical theater again. It was meant to be a 3 year course. I dropped out after the first year. Saved myself thousands and thousands doing it, and I honest to God, I don't regret that I did it. A lot of people see to push this idea that you're only going to be good at the sort of skill that you get unless you go to college and you go to university and you get straight A's and everything. But the thing with acting and singing is that there is a method to the madness in it, but it's all of it is so much from self-experience, which is the reason why I left going to university. It all started becoming theoretical, and I wasn't on stage doing anything I wanted. It was boring. And then I dropped out and just started involving myself in more acting projects online. Yeah, I've had a little bit of school in classical teaching history, dude.
Well, no, I mean it's cool because I mean like when I first I met you I think in 2010 I want to say somewhere around there.
We met at Otakon.
That's right. That's right. Was that what year was that? Was that
I think
2010?
It's either 10 or 9.
No, you know what? It was 10 because I remember something hilarious that happens that I can't talk about,
Oh, right. Oh, yeah,
but you know
yeah,
what
yeah,
about,
yeah, yeah. I got it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
You'll never know, audience. Sorry, but yes, that was definitely 2010 was that year.
Okay.
Yeah, but we had been talking, I think, over Skype a little bit before we hung out in real life there. But I
Yes.
can't. I think I assumed that I probably just met you through Martin,
You
because I
absolutely did meet me through
yeah.
Martin because I was in a call with him once and he said, "Hey, can I bring Curb in?" And who's that? I said, and you just dropped in, and then it was like, "This is Chris Niosi." And the first I remember hearing that because the first comment I made was, "That's a really weird last name." And I told you that, and Martin after the call was like, "That might have been a bit rude." I'm like, "No, but dude, it's a weird last name, is it not?"
Fuck you though. But yeah, I remember. No, we hung out at Otakon later that year, and I remember
Yep,
it was a lot of fun. You were a little babby back. That was the
I
year.
was.
By the way, for those of you out there who have, I think I told this story on the Otakon Curb Lab briefly, but that was the year that there was a fire evacuation because there was a
Oh my
kid.
God, there was.
Yeah,
Yes, I remember that.
there was a
Yeah.
kitchen fire. Excuse me, in the the dealer's hall because they had a little like not restaurant but a little food place in the back, and yeah, that was a very eventful year. I'll just put it that way. Nonetheless, yeah, so we were hanging out a lot, and then I remember I think the first thing we and I actually collaborated on was I did as a present for someone. This would have been the end of 2010. Is I wrote a bunch of English versions of some songs from a series called Inazuma 11, which
Yeah.
I was a big fan of at the time, and I wrote some dub versions of these opening themes from the series. And Shady was proving that he was very quick at mastering audio and doing vocals together. So we duetted like I think like what like four of them on that
You know
little
what?
CD.
I still have the mix files. I never deleted them,
Oh,
so I can tell you when we did that actually.
pull that shit up. I actually kind of want to rehearse that again because
Yeah,
I
I've
like
got
those.
Inazuma 11 and Inazuma Come On Everybody is the name of the songs.
Oh, okay.
Kate Nakoze. I don't know if I'm saying. I'm
Oh
probably
yeah, yeah.
butchering it.
Kapten Okoze was another one. Yeah. Um,
Let me have a look at these files then. Give me a sec. Okay, so 21st of December 2010. Oh my God. So
yeah.
this was after
It
Otakon.
was yeah. That's right because it was a Christmas present. That's right. Yeah, that's
All
great.
right, then in that case, our first collaboration was the episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, where we were the trolls at the end and we were just
Oh yeah.
screaming.
Well, that was in terms of working together. Yeah, I mean like that was more so we were doing that just for Martin,
Right.
because that was in the midst of the what people know as the canceled season of Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series, where you were cameoing a lot as Martin's kind of like his sort of spin on your guy's version of Jaden because he was voiced by you, but he had the personality of
Oh no no
like
no
a
no! He had that character established way before we got into the scene. It was just a continuation of that.
oh
It was
okay.
when GX first dropped. He made a reference to it in one of the God. This is probably like episode 18, 19 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. So we're going back fucking
Yeah.
years. But no, that gangster Jaden was always a he always had that sort of personality first. That wasn't us.
Well, no, I know it wasn't you guys, but I mean, like, because that's what I meant is that he appropriated you to voice him, but he came up with the like annoying wannabe rapper version of him, which of
Yes.
course also led to the parody of Stronger, which by the way, I didn't realize this, and it's really I can't track it down, which I'm sure you're probably happy about. But you did an early version of the Stronger song,
Yes.
and was that the Yu-Gi-Oh version of it as well, or was it
God,
just
you know what? I can't even remember. It was so long ago.
mhm.
When did I make that? Was that 2011? When did the
uh
movie come out?
the movie we did in 2012? It was 2012 because that was when we screened it. And I think you were there for that, if I'm
No,
remembering
I
correctly.
wasn't there at the screening.
Oh, okay.
That was a
Okay,
year
then you know
before
what?
I went.
It's 2011. Okay. Oh, you know, so then that was okay. Yeah, funny story. Then so the same year that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time abridged movie was premiered at Youmacon. That was the same year where we premiered the first episode of Tome, actually.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Shady was not present for that year. He came to Youmacon in 2012, the following year. But
Yes.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember
No,
they.
I know what you're talking about. I did an earlier version about it. I
Hmm.
can't. I when we did that, I think it had nothing to do with Martin at the time.
Hmm.
So I think he just heard that and then he was like, "Can I remake this for you?" And put it into the movie. And I was like, "Sure." And I wrote down this lyric sheet, and it. I remember my file getting corrupted, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know what to do here." He was like, "Hang on, I'll tackle it." And he worked out something far better than anything I did. So the lyrics are Martin's, and that performance is mine.
Well, also interesting to know. I think we might have talked about this somewhere before publicly, but also in the Bonds Beyond Time abridged movie was the parody of Beelzebos by Tenacious D, of which
Yes.
all three me Shady and Martin are all avid fans of Tenacious D. There was so we did a demo of it, you and I, and we did everybody. It was you did Jaden and Paradox, and I did Yuki and Yusei.
Yes.
And I wrote a full draft of the entire song, and then Martin had it start from the "There's just no way that we can win," and then went on to the rest of it. And he rewrote little bits of it here and there, but a lot of it actually was what I wrote, like the bit with the "We're Yu-Gi-Oh, we're Yu-Gi-Oh, we're Yu-Gi-Oh, we're Yu-Gi-Oh," a lot of that stuff. Like that was all from our demo that we did, and we kind of presented that to him because I think that he was thinking of the idea for it, and we kind of went to town on
Right.
it, and it ended up being a really cool part. And that was a cool experience. That was a cool little three-way thing between all of us. And then I remember also, by the way, going back another year ago, but to that Otakon we hung out at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged panel, which was on a Sunday morning. And it was the biggest room in the convention hall, and it was fucking packed on a Sunday morning,
Yeah,
the
it
last
was
day of the
fucking
convention.
booked.
It was
Yeah, I
massive,
remember that.
and you guys performed not from the because the movie wasn't written yet, but the song from that other the Yuki versus Jaden rap battle. Um,
Yes.
and then I came in at the very end and did Yusei
And
because
then you ran me over.
yes, and it was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because all that stuff that's all pre-tome, and that was all basically within a year. Like within a year, you and I like already like clicked really well. We became pretty decent friends, and then by the time that I got to the end of college, and I was starting to think more about the prospect of doing the show, then I basically knew ahead of time that I could trust you to do sound design and the vocals for the theme song, which all kind of came in tandem with, you know what? And he's got good acting chops. He's got the right kind of voice that I'm going for, which, by the way, I was kind of telling that. Oh, you know what? Okay, I was telling this story to the others yesterday. You went to sleep. I have a funny story for you about something that happened recently that I think you'll find quite ironic. So,
Okay.
those of you who haven't already, I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you've seen the AVZ short that we did for the Tome anniversary. So Mike Lucas and I filmed the little live action joke at the end of the short, and so Mike Lucas, since Alpha in Tome is originally based on him, I had him portray the live action version of Alpha. So to all of you that thinks that that's Shady in the live action thing, no, that's not him. That's Mike
I'm not
Lucas.
that attractive.
Yes, you are. Shut your mouth. Nonetheless, so I had him record that, and so a little while before that, we were watching. We watched on Halloween the movie Hocus Pocus, and Jason Marsden, who was the voice of Kovu in Lion King 2 and Max on Goofy Movie, many other things.
Right.
He voiced this talking cat who was originally a human, and he gets like transformed by like an evil witch or something, and there were in the live action footage in the beginning and the end of the movie. There's a kid, and Jason Marsden is dubbing the kid because most of the time it was the cat. So they had him voicing the cat, but to keep the voice consistent, they had him also voicing the kid in the live action footage. So he's dubbing this person that isn't really him, kind of thing, right? So
Right.
I was obviously with both the short and also the little ending of Tome, we had to make sure that the we had to make sure that that Mike didn't say anything because it would have been weird if he was talking and suddenly it wasn't you as the voice of Alpha. And
Right.
Mike was joking about, well, I can say something and then Shady can dub over me. like in Hocus Pocus, or better yet, you can get the guy that voiced the cat to dub over me or whatever. To which, from the recesses of my mind, and this is what was so poetic about it, way back when I was in middle school, the person that I originally envisioned in my like sky's the limit, like dream cast, if I can get whoever I want type thing, was I envisioned Jason Marsden as the voice of Alpha. And
Okay.
as fate would have it, you have a Jason Marsden type voice, and you have done fan tubs of Jason Marsden as Covert.
Do I really sound like him?
Close enough. You're in that range.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought I had I get a lot of comparisons to friggin'
Joshua Seth.
oh god, I can't. Joshua Seth.
Yeah.
And Sonic.
just Sonic in general, not any specific actor.
I get told I look like James. Well, Sonic has sort of. They say I sound like what they expect Sonic to sound like.
Oh, okay. Just you,
I don't know. It's
as you
and
are.
apparently I look like James Franco. I've seen in a few.
Oh,
God,
that's not
all
true.
these
whoever,
big.
whoever the fuck
I
said
know.
that is
I
an
don't.
idiot.
Clearly, they haven't seen me properly.
Well, especially not
Closer
because
to
you're
James
fat.
Fatso. I know. It's terrible. It's so easy to eat shit when all you do is just work at your desk. It's so easy.
Well, not to mention,
Oh, God.
now with the three times I think you've come to visit the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah, in the three times, particularly with me, I fucking ruined you because despite all
Yeah,
of
you take me out to get like burgers and huge friggin' things that fill plates that shouldn't be for people. It shouldn't be that size.
to all of you out there who were constantly giving a shit in the fucking in the charity stream chat about how I deny him his hot pocket. Number one, it's because I'm trying to fucking think of his health and safety. And second of all, I fatten this motherfucker up when he comes to visit the U.S.
No, hang on. There's a big discernible difference between a fucking 4-patty burger and a little pizza pocket. I'm not going to lose diabetes to one, so let's try that one.
It's mainly just because I think they're gross and I don't want you to eat them. But
Right.
no, I mean, no. Well, when you were here a year and a half ago for what the fuck, for Anime Expo, when we did
Yes.
the finale screening, we went to IHOP and Denny's, I think, in the same day on the last day that you were here, and I mean, like.
That was beautiful. But that's the dream, innit? That's the American dream, and I
it?
loved that.
Is that
It
what
really
that
is. Yes. I mean, you see them in carts going around Walmart, and I think, God bless you. It's just beautiful.
Well, I mean, you've also, I mean, Eileen, I remember when she was here at the beginning of the year for, she was visiting LA for a convention, and she was hanging out. She was over for my birthday party at the time, and we were talking about you, and offhandedly she was like, "Oh, well, Shetty just wants to be American." Why do people have this? Actually, no, that's a question too. So, like, you have a lot of intrigue into like American culture and music and
Yes.
know, and voiceover as well, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And like. And also to the point where you've talked about how your accent has kind of become corrupted to almost sound American-esque too. Where did a lot of that intrigue start? Was that like early on, like when you were a kid, like the type of music you listened to or something, or?
I don't know. It's not that I'm necessarily drawn to it. But there's certain aspects of it that I just really overwhelms me, and I think it's so different. If you've ever lived in England, for somebody who's lived here as long as I have, it's boring. It's really exciting over there with you guys. All the shows you've got with like, it's not his baby. This kind of attitude, you just don't get that over here. It's so insane. But there's something about that I just find, I don't know, it's entertaining, It's more exciting over on your side of the pond. I want to come over there and join the party.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, you're welcome here, obviously, but I mean,
oh yeah,
that's a whole.
Oh yeah, for sure. The voice, however, is a completely different issue. I can't explain any of that. I can only assume it's because I've been recording as male protagonists, and it's that usually what I get pushed to do is that really generic sort of anime middle hero teenage I'm gonna save the day sort of thing. But it's just apparently I do it well, and that gets in a lot of cast requests. And after doing it for so long, it's just sort of integrated itself into my natural accent. That's the only like reasonable fathom I can give to it.
Well, I mean, because also you are good with character stuff too. I mean, like when we're just like when we're up until butt fuck o'clock in the morning doing sound design, and you and I are just like messing around doing fucking SpongeBob voices or whatever. I mean, like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember actually. Oh God, I'm gonna say this, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, you should do it," but we're not because we got more important things to do.
Okay.
We did think about years ago doing a version of the Sailor Mouth episode of SpongeBob and actually dubbing the whole thing and doing and doing it with real cursing, like instead of the
Oh,
clean sound
that would have been,
effects.
yeah, basically replacing the whole dialogue or a section. That would have been wonderful. I think that would have been fantastic if we could have gotten that to work. Yeah, I was gonna be like, I was gonna be Plankton and my leg guy. Rev up those. Yeah, yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about doing a lot. I mean, before, during, and after Tone, we talked about doing a lot of different things, and it was even kind of cool because like when we were doing AVZ, the sound design, as I was joking on the stream, about 72 hours before the thing fucking came out, it re- it really was just like the show, and that like it was that. It was that fun kind of like, I would be working at the same time and he would be like, hey, take a listen to this. This is kind of what you're looking for. Like, oh, let's adjust this or whatever. Oh, hey, I've got an idea for this. Let's try this or whatever. And it was a, excuse me, it was a really fun part of the process. And it was why I was glad that I had you as not just a cast member, but as a crew member of the full production, because you were like able fully to do all those things. And it was very much to the show's benefit, I think. And also, it was just like the old days in that you waited until the last fucking second to do it.
You always catch me at shit times when I've got other hundred fucking things needing to be done. I will say, though, however, you hiring me for doing the sound designing for the whole thing has helped me gone as far as I have in making the rest of my audio sound better. Definitely. There's a genuine improvement between episode 1 sound design and episode 15,
Sure.
the latest short we put out. Discernible difference, and it's definitely helps
Well, even
me with my future talents.
even with the acting too. Actually, you and I think sound the most consistent all throughout. But like, I mean, even like in the first episode, you can kind of tell like a major difference. In terms of like we've all gotten way better since 2011. At least I would like to think
Yeah.
so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But trying to think of what else. I mean, well, actually, let's go into the music stuff. So, like, I mean, you got intrigued with a lot of music. I mean, okay, actually, so something I've noticed that you've always been really good at, and this has been present like since your Yu-Gi-Oh! GX days, is that you're a pretty decent vocal mimic when it comes to like being able to imitate a lot of different kinds of singing particularly from different like pop artists and shit, which
Right.
is served well now for a lot of your commission work that you do for paying your bills.
Yes.
But so before you were learning like instruments and like actually composing and writing music, like what kind of led into, because and we talked a little bit about this on the Pursuing Your Passion Curb blog a while ago, but in terms of like where that started, like how did that kind of come about?
I'm trying to think if there's like a point I can pin to. I think it was just a case that I wanted to try and pick something up. I just had the guitar and it spawned from there. But this was only like 5-6 years ago. I didn't do it
Well, you've
recently.
always seemed like you've been a pretty big like music junkie in terms of like a lot of like stuff about the bands that you're into.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what was it? I mean, did you grow up or just like with a lot of music in your life, like as a kid, even before you were on the internet?
I grew up to a sort of style and culture. When I was growing up in my early teens, I was a skater heavily. Not so much now, but you could sort of tell by the way I dress, but that influence is still there. But it was the same sort of music scene that all the other skaters were listening to. It was Blink, it was Green Day, it was Sum 41, it was Offspring, and then you had like the Tony Hawk games and all that soundtrack. And that's definitely where like Scratch is inspired by. It's the early pop punk scene. I I enjoyed it then and I enjoy it now. I get a lot of shit from it from all my mates. Fucking, you're listening to crap. It's basic. It's standard. It's uninteresting. You know, it was, yeah, I like it. Uh, and then there was a point where I just said, well, I want to perform some of these songs that I really like. You know, I want to do covers. So I learned how to pick up a guitar, and the first thing I do was just try and strum as fast as I could. You know, just try and get all fucking notes out. Uh, but then you learn that it doesn't work like that, and it's got patience and timing, and it helps you. It helps you learn to be calculated during your process. But I don't know where it pinpoints from, but I think it's probably just I don't know. I've wanted to sing and I've wanted to sing my own stuff, and to do that, I got to write my own stuff. So I got to pick a guitar and fucking learn how to use it.
Well, what was the very first like? I mean, obviously you had stuff like 404, which had a little cameo in a Tome episode as well.
Right.
But what was the first like original song that you had wrote? What it was because it wasn't Sorry Jack, right?
Sorry Jack was my first full original vocal,
Okay.
if like lyrics and all. First song, it was I think it's Whispers, but that's like lyricless.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and that had the same kind of the do 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 do
Yeah,
do.
it sampled the same melody. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, see, and I've always thought, that was a big connection point too, because like I don't consider myself a musician. At best, I'm a decent lyricist and I'm an okay vocalist.
I don't even think I'm a good musician, so it's fine.
Oh well, you're a dumbass, so you know. But but no, and like and I know how to work with musicians in terms of like like when I've directed Cadgett and Tombstone and Steven and folks like that on the music that I was commissioning them for the show. I had enough of
Right.
a sensibility and an understanding of music in general that I was able to work with them well. With you, it was the easiest because it was simply just like, hey, I know what you're capable of. Here's the song, go for it, etc. And
Right.
it comes so fucking naturally and easy to you, at least, or at least you fooled me into thinking that it does.
To be fair, you don't pass me all the hardest gigs, you know. You don't say, I need you to write a four-piece orchestra scored against this 2-minute battle scene.
Yeah.
You know, you usually go, I need 10 seconds and it needs to sound generic but not crap. All right, here you go.
Well, even yeah, I mean, because also there are a couple, and there are tracks on the the season 2 soundtrack. There's a couple little minor bits that you did for the second season of the show. Little tiny jingles for certain parts, particularly when it, funnily enough, had involved Alpha and Curb, where when you had those little bits in there too, which was cool. Well, I guess so. Then leading into then what prompted the creation of Scratch 21, and then also the kind of the characters and all that sort of came with it.
Oh, there's some of this stuff I'm not really too sure if I want to talk about. So
Okay.
if I'm slow with the responses and choosing my words carefully,
Sure,
I
sure, sure.
apologize.
Yeah, no problem.
I haven't quite set out how I want to do a press release yet. Okay. Scratch was essentially, it started with me wanting to start a music project. I don't consider it to be a band. It's more of an art project, really. Scratch started with Sorry Jack. It was my first ever original song, and I didn't want to use the name Shady Box, and I didn't want to credit by Blake Swift. I wanted to go a different direction. I wanted it to be on its own sort of standalone, which is why I try and distance myself from the project as much as I can. I know I'm never going to be able to. There's always going to be people
Well,
who go,
because
"Oh yeah,
it
you run Scratch."
Yeah, okay, well, 'cause it is actually your project, but I totally know what you mean. Where it's like you want to put the brand of it ahead of like your name. I know exactly what you
Right.
mean by
I
that.
want it to be its own entity, but I'm sort of like the manager of
Yeah.
it. But I'm behind the curtain. You don't see me.
Yeah.
And then so that's what it started out initially. Is when Sorry Jack came out, I needed a name for it, and I wanted to extend it, and I went with Scratch 21. And I went with Scratch 21 because 21 is how old I was when I started writing it, and Scratch because I wanted it to have some sort of. I knew I was going to have a group, sort of like anthro characters with it, and I thought having that as a common factor between all of them, as sort of like a thing could work. I don't know. I'm stuck with it now. I've got no fucking choice.
Actually, out of curiosity, this is a little side note. Out of curiosity, I don't know how much you want to talk about this either, but what kind of got you like sort of into the furry community?
I don't know. Everybody, I get this question a lot, and there's a lot of sort of blanket aligned assumed thinking that it's all with like the exposure to like when you and I were growing up as kids, in the 90s, most of the cartoons, they were sort of that anthro style. Like I had Chip and Dale, and then you had, Arthur, and these whole list of just these characters with animal traits. And I think maybe there's some truth to that. I have no idea, but for me, it was watching a lot of the Disney movies, Lion King, and specifically. I don't know what it is. I just enjoy watching a movie with animals with a human animal qualities. I don't know why it brings absolutely nothing like an expendable experience to me, but it's nice to look at. I guess it's more pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
It can sort of delve the surrealism a little bit because they're still human, but they're not. I don't know. I don't know why, but I enjoyed that when I was a kid growing up, and I still do. And I wanted to implement that sort of visual, what I enjoy to others, really, because I'm not riding Scratch with this intention that I have an expectation to reach, or like I have a message to give specifically that people are waiting for. It's just what I enjoy.
Sure. I mean that's fine.
Sure. It's just I don't know. It's my first product, well, first IP that I'm still trying to get going. It's still a little bit hit and miss, but it's a band project. The best way I can boil it down is that it's a band project. Think the Gorillas virtual. They exist, but they don't. And it's 4 characters, and they're all animals. And it's a lion, fox, deer, and a bunny.
Do you want to? I don't know how much you want to go into it, but you want to talk about the characters a little bit, or is that still secret?
I can no, I can talk about them. That's fine. I have to think carefully about what I'm saying here.
Sure.
Okay, so as the leadman, we have Matt the lion. And Matt is lead guitarist and lead vocalist, and I provide the voice to Matt. But not on paper, I don't, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's the only connection I'm going to give. And then we have 3 other characters. We have Riley, Cooper, and Ed. Riley is our drummer. She is a rockin' rabbit. We have Ed, who is a stag, who is second guitarist and second vocalist. And then we have Cooper, who is the bassist and also backing vocals. And the idea is that these 4 characters are a group of friends who write songs in their attic and are just waiting for that big break to come in, and they can't fucking get it. So it's all very bedroomy. It's not like Tenacious D, where it's sort of that mockumentary where it's like they're trying to be the biggest band in the world sort of deal, their struggle as a group. That's the sort of angle I'm going for on it. I'm still working out details. I'm still writing the next record, but I have to think about how I'm going to go about marketing and stuff, because it's different territory for me. I've never done it before. It's exciting, but I have no idea what I need to do to make it work properly.
No, I mean it's something that like I'll even say, as a fan of Scratch myself, it's something that I really am excited about and want to see more of. Because I mean, I'm not even I like Gorillaz. I'm not a super hardcore fan of Gorillaz, but I adore the concept of like characters. And that actually another good example, Renard Queenston, I think their name is, where they like produce music, and also they have Anthro characters as well, and they produce music like under different characters that have their own styles and everything, but it's all the same creator, like that sort of thing.
Right.
Like, there's so much like. I know I'm gonna sound like a fucking cigar crunching producer, but there's so much untapped potential in that market. But there really is. Like, it's such a cool idea. And especially for me, because I love creating and drawing and telling stories with characters. And I've even wanted for a long time to do, this is, I guess, maybe teasing something, someday. But I've always wanted to do some kind of like all musical, animation project. Because like you and I, we both love South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, which is a fantastic musical.
Absolutely.
And Stick of Truth, the video game. Also, Pick of Truth, the Tenacious D movie. Yeah, and I mean like that. I think actually because of working with folks like yourself, I've become a lot more appreciative of the music world and like what goes into that, and just doing it, in tandem, especially with my first passion, which is with making cartoons and telling stories and shit. But
Right.
yeah, no, Scratch 21 is something that I really, really want to see come to fruition even more so, because I think that like it has potential to be. This is sounding like a fucking business meeting, but I mean, I'm serious. I really think it has potential to be something really cool, and like I know that there's a lot of interest out there already for it. So I don't know, but I'm looking forward to whatever it is you end up doing, whether I have any
Yeah.
influence over that or not. But
I'm confident that it'll kick in. It's just I have to deliver first before anything else can get the ball rolling. I mean, there seems to be a decent enough amount of following anyway. I'd be happy if it gets one CD sale. I'm just, as long as people are listening to my music, I'll be all right.
oh, you know what? I remember there was something else I really wanted to talk about that I almost forgot. I want to
Okay.
talk about the Merry Days song. This was a huge thing for you. What year? Tell the story about this. What year was this?
Oh God, it was well. The requirement was 21 and under, and I think I just made the spot. So it would have been 3 years ago. So probably about 2013.
So this was. Oh yeah. Okay. So then I think this might have been when we were finishing up season 1 of Tome. I think was, if I'm remembering correctly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Well, either way. So what was the whole? It was a contest, and you won one of the 5.
It was a contest. Yes, it was a it was a song that was written by Yoko Kanno, and the auditions were you had to send a minute-long recording of yourself singing over the track of the instrumental, and you got given the instrumental and then a copy with placement vocals and then scripts and lyrics in English and Japanese equivocal. I know no Japanese at all. I've never studied it. I've never taken the time out to study it. It's never been an interest of mine, and I fucking won the competition, and I could not believe it. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So I'm fucking sitting there and I'm like, I'm gonna go to Japan. This is, I'm fucking gonna go to Japan. I'm gonna meet Yoko Kanno, whose work I have followed, fantastic composer, and I'm gonna meet her and I'm gonna perform this song and it's gonna be incredible. I get there and my fucking diction is terrible. I can't say anything right. I feel like an absolute jackass. They've got us in white shirts on top of a building in the wind, looking into the camera, and they want these dramatic hand movements. It's like a boy band. I feel like I just feel like I've just been kicked out of the fucking door by Universal Records. And then the video comes out, and I've got everybody laughing at me. I had fun doing it though, but Jesus, that end product, it was really manufactured.
Well, I mean, it was quite incredible because I mean, well, for one thing, if I'm remembering correctly, I think you were the one white guy in the midst of the entire group.
I was,
right?
yeah, I was the only white guy there. Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously the only no, actually, well, some of them were also not native Japanese speakers. I think, was that right? Wasn't there one other person who spoke English, I think, as well? Or
Yeah, there was one other dude from California. I don't know where. But he looked like he was from Japan anyway.
Okay.
So I just, I was completely
How very racist
no.
of you.
Oh, right, yeah. No, it was a lovely experience, I got to meet some people. I got to delve into the culture a little bit. It was interesting. That whole thing about finding panties in vending machines, complete lie. I looked, I found nothing. Joking. No, I remember I freaking bought, it was went to the store and I tried buying stuff that I thought, it might be snacky stuff or, something that I could just have to keep me going because I didn't know how to go about there or ask for food or how to get a cab or anything. And I remember buying like something with Pokemon on it and I thought, oh, it's going to be like, gummy bears or something. I pulled it out and it was rice. It was like seasoning or some shit. I didn't know. Literally stuff I couldn't eat. No, but it was fun. It was a great experience.
I mean, I just still remember distinctly when you won that and you're like, hey, I'm going to Japan. I was just like, fucking hey, Shady, how the fuck do you work this shit out? Like, it really, I mean, it's kind of a testament to the fact that like you already had like a lot of talent that like you fostered like, pretty much on your own. Because you didn't have like a mentor and like there's not a whole big industry of people that like were a support system for you. You just kind of like you kind of made yourself with this
I'm
whole
ki-
path.
I'm kind of winging it.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I mean, you're winging it, but I mean, it's like you got that job, which was a big deal. I mean, Yoko Kanno is a fucking huge deal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I mean, like you're paying your bills, month. Well, actually, I guess on that note, do you want to talk about? I don't know if you want to go too far into it, but some of the stuff that you do, I guess as freelance, that people might also recognize your voice from, and other places on YouTube or.
Oh, well, the thing is most of my work and the gigs that I do are not for my own personal YouTube channel. They're for other people.
Mm.
That's why I don't really post anything on my own personal YouTube now, is because most of my gigs are for other people. But no, I think I know what you're poking at, and the majority of my work comes from doing Minecraft parody music videos, and I'll get sent a request from somebody who has an amount of subscribers I could only dream of. And they say, hey, I saw your thing and you want to make our video? And I'll go, yeah, it'll be all right. And then that video always ends up, it gets, with the nature of just how it works on there, it gets millions and millions of views. Yeah, I mean, there's some fun gigs. Work's work, unfortunately. I wish I could pick them all, but I don't. But yeah.
I mean, they seem like they're all pretty. I mean, like talking people like Caveman Films and like Mashed is another one where also you voiced in a lot of stuff for them as well, some of their cartoons.
Oh yeah. No, the projects are nice. It's just occasionally you'll have, well, and in any line of work you'll get them, but you'll have people who will go, "Hey, I need you to do this whole thing for me," and I'll be like, "All right, let's. What's your budget?" And they'll say like, "Oh no, I thought you would just. I'll put your name in the description," sort of deal.
also known as me.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, no, I mean that. Well, I mean like Shady also makes a cut of like the Bandcamp sales as well for all the music and everything too.
Yes.
And because we had a budget for season 2 and like we had some sponsorship with the early on. But I mean you were a trooper because like I mean especially for like the last majority of season 1 where like we weren't sponsored anymore, and of course we had like the occasional like contest or whatever, we'd raise money and little fundraiser things like that, but it wasn't really until season 2 that we had an actual budget for the whole show, and even then not a massive one or anything. But yeah, I mean it's been really cool to I mean I've been on the outskirts of just kind of seeing all the different stuff that you do, and like I mean at any given time I'll be like hitting you up on Skype at whenever, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've got like 5 different things I've got to finish by the end of the week," and I'm just like, "Good God, man!" Like,
yeah, no, it's all my fault as well because I know I could get them all done sooner if I just applied myself. But I don't know. Recently, it's just been a cascade of work that, it's going back to what I said earlier. Work is work, and if you're happy to get the gig, you take it. But there's some things that you just sort of look at and you go, I'm not enjoying working on these things anymore, and it sort of just ruins, don't know, the creativity and speed.
Well, I mean, if it were entirely up to you, like if you were well off and you had enough of a plan, et cetera, like what is it that you would want to be able to do, like working for? I mean, obviously the point is to work for yourself, but in terms of like the specifics, like what is it that you want to aspire to, like in the future, like for yourself as a whole?
It would be Scratch. I would like to be able to run on my own time, and then I can put all my focus into writing the record, because Scratch is getting neglected with the fact that I have to make my money with attention to other projects when I want to be doing Scratch. So if I could do that, it would definitely be more time on that, and I would also probably get running my own show with me and Jan, which would be a series of shorts, and we just do that, you know. And I would just want to be creative all the time, but with things that I have control over. I think is where my motivation is.
Mm.
I'll definitely drop on the job. I know I will.
um, well, I just do Ukulele the animated series and just have that be just done.
Maybe one day I
Yeah,
can dream.
well, I guess that's gonna wrap us up. Any other any advice maybe to like aspiring musicians or sound designers or anything like that that are out there that maybe look up to the Shady Vux and want to be like the Shady Vux and
Please don't be like the Shady Box.
absorb the brain and heart of the Shady Vux.
Um, okay. With music, the only thing I can say to other musicians is if you're going to write a song, write something that's dear to you. Don't write something that people want you to write about because then when you have a following, it'll be as true to your experience as it was for you to your own. Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to keep it on a good note.
Okay.
I don't know what else
No,
to say.
no. You want to crush people's dreams. No, I understand. Unlike me, I'm blunt. Don't fucking waste your time writing video game parody songs, shitbags. Not like me. I've never done that. Don't waste your time
No,
like
how
me.
about yet?
All right. Well, hey. Thanks for this. This is really cool. You want to plug your stuff? I mean, I'm sure people already know it, but I mean, you know.
I'll give it a try. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just search the name ShadyVox.
Yeah. Well,
Anything to do with me, that's where you'll find results.
yeah.
I'm sure.
What's the one you're like the most active on? I guess it's probably the Facebook page, right?
Twitter,
Really?
Twitter, I would say.
I feel like you
Yeah,
barely
yeah. I
use
respond.
Twitter.
I always respond to reply. I barely use Twitter for public posts. But if anybody sends me like a message, I always respond. I try and give a reply as soon as I can.
Beautiful. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's gonna wrap us up. So everybody in the comments below, if you have any stories to share about, perhaps if you have met Shady at a con, or if you have been a fan of his music or his VO work or his anything, let us know. Tell us some stories about your experiences with the man, and I'll be interviewing the rest of the Tome cast, the main cast for the rest of the month, through the rest of Tomevember. So keep an eye out for that, and we will catch you on the next one. Fare thee well.
Bye bye.